Hello everyone. Welcome back to Zero Tolerance TV. I am still ZT. This is the third time I've tried to start this cast. I keep making very stupid mistakes, but we're getting through it. We are getting through it. Oh wow, that was some excitement there. This is going to be a TVT on Peaks of Bigdu. So, if I have a prediction, somebody's gonna put tanks behind their opponent's main. That's my guess. We don't know though. Might not happen. We're not sure. But that's my guess. Somebody's gonna put tanks or maybe just run back there with vultures behind the main and harass workers, because that is some busted shit on this map. Definitely seen a lot of Zergs go ahead and abuse that with lurkers. We'll see what these Terrans want to do. So, looks like that was C in the top right there. You got Goodfriend down here in the bottom left, playing as the purple, not Protoss, Terran. Purple human. Now, I don't know about you. Oh, that's a quick SCV. I think we're gonna see some cheese here from C. But I don't know about you, but I always thought it was odd that Terran is a name that keeps popping up for human in like a lot of science fiction. I just never got it. What? Why would they call it that? Well, here's something I knew and should have made the connection on. Earth, one of the really oldest names for it is Terra. So Terran from Terra. There you go. If you've ever wondered why it's Terran, that's why. Is this gonna get scouted? I don't think Goodfriend saw that. So this is a pretty sneaky barracks right now. Once Goodfriend gets to C's main, he will probably notice that there are not enough SCVs there. And oh wow, actually C is trying to block that SCV a little bit. So Goodfriend probably already has some alarm bells going off in his head right now. Like, why would you do that? If you're just scouting, that's a weird thing to do while you're scouting. And now he'll see, oh, okay, yeah, you're proxying. I get it. I would love to see him just build a bunker when he can. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you need a barracks to build the bunker. But if he does build a bunker, he will not die. And he'll just be ahead, because he'll have extra SCVs. And C will be sad. But we'll have to see. C is trying to harass with this SCV a little bit, but Goodfriend did a pretty good job of reacting. First Marine is here already, and the barracks isn't even finished yet, so Goodfriend might actually have to pull some SCVs to fight this, and he does do that. Oh wow, a good surround actually blocking the Marine from walking up the ramp. It does manage to slip through though, coated in Vaseline that Marine is. Now the SCVs do have a bit of a surround here, but a second Marine is out. Looks like that first SCV is about to die. C actually did take out an SCV of Goodfriend's with his SCV though. Looks like both the Marines died, and now Goodfriend has a Marine of his own out. So, seems like a fine position, pretty playable. Probably pretty playable for both of them, although we'll have to see. Goodfriend's Marine did just die, but C's is very low as well. SCVs might be able to get it. And actually, Goodfriend does get his Marine to kill off C's. So the Marine loss count is quite a bit higher, I think too high right now for C, but he has killed one more SCV than his opponent, so pretty close. I do think a Marine wins that fight. Oh, but with another Marine rallied up, he might actually get the kill first, and yeah, this SCV does live. So I think Goodfriend held that pretty well. Maybe a slight edge for him, but it's not. It's pretty playable for either player, I think. The problem for C right now is that his barracks is on the wrong side of the map. And once you lose control of that area, you're just kind of down production. Now it is just the barracks, at least his factory is at home. That would be the real problem. I saw a game. Oh, a little bit of an engagement here. One Marine does go down for Goodfriend, but his SCV manages to kill another of his opponents. Really just Marines getting traded here right now. No more SCVs are dying. Kind of think C should just stop building the Marines. They're not really working out anymore. Another does pop. It's trying to kill the Marine, but wasn't able to catch it. Second factory at home for C, so he is just doubling down. This boy is all about the all-in today. You see a bit of a Marine fight here, or not, as Goodfriend does pull his away. But the Vulture's out now, so Marines don't matter anymore. Okay. Still, does end up killing the last of his opponent's Marines. But again, the Marines just are completely irrelevant at this point. Once Vultures start popping out, Marines suck. So I don't expect any more to be made. I kind of think C overmade Marines, just a little bit there, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. CC on location for Goodfriend, but I'm not really sure if he's scouted C much at all yet. I don't think he has a little bit yet. Actually, this spare Marine that lived is going to get the scout off on the 2-fac, so he knows what is up. Should see him play pretty defensively. C's Vulture does pop out and kill off the Marine, but it did its job. Getting that scouting information was all that really mattered for it. Should see a second factory here, and we do indeed see that. So Goodfriend is going to be all about the defense. He knows exactly what C is up to, and basically just needs to live through this. Oh, what? A third fac? Is this even... Can you make off 3? Is that a thing? Can you even make that many Vultures? I don't know, man. I guess we're gonna find out. I know the tanks are pretty good if you're doing that, but you do need more than one to hold off a bunch of Vultures. I assume it's gonna be mines. Oh, okay. Guess it was speed. These are fast Vultures, so he's gonna go for a run by. Okay, now mines. Sure. But it looks like C is gonna try something pretty cheesy here. Runs up onto the Vultures, but with this tank here gonna be able to block the ramp. I don't think C is gonna be able to get into the main. Yeah, he does not get in there, but let's see. I wonder if this is like for a factory or something. I don't know. Siege mode's done, so Goodfriend seems like he's going to be pretty safe as long as he doesn't let Vultures into his main there. And still no anti-air out for Goodfriend, so C has basically perfect information of what's going on. It's a ton of Vultures, and he has already killed a couple of his opponent's Vultures, so he's definitely going to be decently ahead. I definitely like the supply depot behind his main. As we've seen, if you followed the cast on this channel here, you have seen some pretty degenerate shit going on with that ledge, so good to see that Goodfriend is aware of the potential for that. So we've got mines done now for C, and he is going to be laying those all over the place. Pretty nice tank spreads from Goodfriend. Third factory now started. I think C is going to have to do something. Whether that's pull the trigger on his all in. Oh, here it is. Okay, alright. I'm going to take credit because the plan here, I think... Well, no, he is bringing everything up to behind the mains. I'm just taking credit for it. I was right. My prediction turned out. We are seeing some shenanigans behind the main here. One tank is going to try to fight this off, but not quite going to be able to do it. I think it did trade for a Vulture or two, but not a great trade there. But Goodfriend has rallied some more units up of his own. 2 tanks here finished. Yeah, I think C is like completely all in here. I think if you go 3-fac on one base, like that's like putting gateways in your opponent's main all in. Like he can build the CC if he wants, but like I don't think it matters. Goodfriend took a peek in there, but that was not a very fun place for his Vultures to be. A couple tanks on the low ground going to help out this fight. And once he can kill the tanks, I think that's really all that's stopping Goodfriend from taking back control of behind his main. It's really just this one siege tank here. Maybe some more are going to rally in, but we actually don't see any. And the tank is unsieged, so it does get picked off. And it looks... Well, okay, another siege tank rolling up here, but... Man, the Vulture count is just low now for Goodfriend, and or for C. So I think Goodfriend is probably just ahead at this point. More mines being laid here. Now both players have it. That's a transfer, right? Okay, yeah. For a second there, I thought he was pulling the boys after making his command center. It's like, what? No, surely not. No one's that crazy. Indeed, no one is that crazy. Bit by bit prime is that crazy. I actually saw him do that once. It was kind of beautiful. I hated bit by bit in a lot of ways, but in other ways it's like, you're just doing your thing, man. Like, I can't hate you for that, you know? You're just gonna Marine SCV in literally every game. I think he tried to macro, like, once, and it was awful. But, yeah, I'll remember his game where he made a command center, made, like, 4 SCVs from it, and then pulled all his SCVs. Anyway, I'm telling a story in the middle of this battle here. Tank's getting set up by C, but kind of surrounded with mines pretty quickly, and they're gonna get taken out by just pure Vulture from Goodfriend. He was already in a good spot, and he's getting into an even better spot here. Vultures run by. Well, they try to. Only one gets through. Tank intercepts and finishes it off. But honestly, they'd already gotten their worth there, so not a big deal for Goodfriend. I'm sure he was happy with what he got done with those Vultures. Starting, well, I guess that's a 4th factory, but it looks like, if I'm looking at the mini-map, the factory that was at the bottom right base is flying home. And this factory, unlike Cloud's factory, will actually make it home. That game was so tragic. Just seeing that factory get, like, the SCV got to the factory and then it blew up while the SCV's underneath it. It's like, oh my god. So tragic. Just the saddest event ever. But it does look like we are going to be moving into a macro game here. So we'll have to see. Put Goodfriend at an advantage. But if we're using the good old metric of I've never heard of this player before and I've definitely heard of C, I think maybe C is okay. we'll have to see. Haha, that was incidental at first. Yeah. Anyway, 5-fact for Goodfriend about to be finishing up, and C is making his own 5th. We're gonna have even production now. A couple vultures running in, but really not a great trade for them. I think they killed 1 vulture from C. Okay, 6-fact actually for C here. So he's gonna be up in production. My guess is that Goodfriend has more SCVs, so I'm not really sure if C's actually going to be able to produce off 6 factories at once. It seems like a lot for a 2 base. I mean, you can do it, but like after going 3-fact on 1 base, it's kind of harder. A couple mines get nothing done there. Picked off before they can detonate. And it looks like C is actually catching a few more vultures of his opponent, so it's kind of how he has to get back in here, but these tanks are now sieged up. It's kind of painful for C if he attacks in here, but ooh, a pretty good mine. Got one tank and a vulture, I believe. But I think C had vision of that somehow, so his tanks were able to finish off. Or sorry, Goodfriend had vision of that somehow, so his tanks were able to finish off C's there. Ooh, a Wraith though. That's pretty annoying for C to have to deal with. There are some glides here, and I don't think there's going to be cloak yet. So actually, I was completely wrong. Those 2 glides just dunked on the Wraith, and it was a terrible play. Who knew? 3rd about to finish up for Goodfriend, so he's going to be back up to that 1 base advantage. Is that even true? I think C might be on 3 base now as well. So, oh, you know what? He took the farther location as his 2nd base, because reasons. But Goodfriend was trying to take the bottom right in the meantime. It was not canceled, but delayed by that vulture. I assume. Good man. Yeah, it was delayed by C's vulture. I'm getting confused here. TVT is a matchup. TVT is like, they say it's the most skill based, and I don't really know if that's true or not because I don't play Terran. It seems like it probably is. Like, both players just get instant map hacks wherever they want. And siege tanks are really like if you're good at positioning with siege tanks, you'll get a lot out of them. We do have an engagement here. So far, just the vultures dying. It is Goodfriend's setup position, but so many extra vultures from C allows him to just kind of push through here. And he's going to break this tank line. Pretty rough for Goodfriend to be losing tanks like this. Not very efficient, really just killing vultures. A couple other tanks here might be able to save the day and at least keep the base alive, but still a good trade. Vultures for tanks is basically always good. Siege tanks are kind of the unit that actually matter in this matchup. Really, I mean, probably Terran's best unit, I would think. Go ahead and put in the comments if you think Terran has a better unit than the Siege tank. Go ahead and say so, and I'll tell you you're wrong. Of course, it is situational. I don't want Siege tanks versus carriers, but I mean, that's not even true. I kind of do want Siege tanks versus carriers, because if you're all Goliath, then they just build gateway units and kill you. Anyway, Goodfriend is taking a nice little trade here. He managed to get some tanks sieged on the high ground in a good position. But C is actually going to be able to take this out. It looks like the vultures get in between his siege tanks, and they are no longer able to fire. More tanks rallying down here. It does take forever and a day for vultures to kill a tank with their grenades, but eventually that one is taken out. Yeah, I mean, I think what I said about Siege just being a better player is kind of coming true. He's just had really nice vulture movement, and he keeps getting these fights that are just favorable for him. Another tank taken out there. Looks like that one on the left will go down now as well. Even the tank on the right, so pretty rough for Goodfriend, losing a lot of siege tanks to vultures. And even allows C to get some tanks of his own in a good position. Probably, yeah, that tank does go down as well. One tank left in this position here, but a mine just laid down next to it, so that one is not long for this world either. And again, we see C is doing a great job of just pushing up and taking this space. If we work with the hypothesis of the siege tank being the best unit, maybe in the game, although I mean, it's not a Zerg unit, so it can't be the best unit in the game. Like, that's the Defiler, it's not close. Shut up if you think it's something else. But, the siege unit, a tank, being the best unit... Oh, my God. Being the best unit in this matchup, anyway. Then, kind of makes sense that this is probably a very positioning-based matchup. That is how it was in StarCraft 2 as well. Another Wraith here is being annoying. One Wraith takes quite a while to kill a siege tank, though. So, not sure that's actually going to work out here for Goodfriend. Oh man, and he's actually going to be losing some SCVs here at the bottom right base. C able to get up here with some vultures and really nothing to fight back against them, although they are just attacking the command center. So Goodfriend is pushing up the left side. Should be able to take out this tank. He does. But C is in position with some tanks and another wave of vultures. The vultures should be able to kill off these siege tanks here. A couple mines laid next to that tank, but actually it dies before they even activate. And C is pushing in again, and just look at the lack of units here for Goodfriend. See, I think Siege to 5 tanks over here. Pretty tough to push into 5 tanks. And Goodfriend agrees, so he's going to be pulling back. Also had to lift the bottom right base, so it's looking like Goodfriend's going to be back down onto 2 base here against C, who is, I believe, going to be on 4 soon. I think there's a CC moving over the top left base there. Is that a movie poster? Alright. Hell yeah, brother. Can't say I'm up on the Korean movie scene. That may have just been like a mock movie poster. Sorry about the text. I will put that on silent. Might be. There we go. As I was saying, it is my birthday, so we're trying to figure out if the Thai restaurant that I love is open. We'll see. We do have an engagement. Vultures against tanks, but ooh, those big mines actually clearing out a bunch of those tanks. And Goodfriend just calls GG. I can't really blame him. C was just choking him out. Yeah, I don't know. I think C didn't really get the damage he needed to be at parity from his proxy racks. Those are very early racks, but he did get enough to allow him to play a macro game. Remember, he did go 3 fac off 1 base and try to set up a contain. Maybe more SCVs died than I realized. That would actually kind of make sense for how that game played out, but it could also just be C being a lot better at TBT than his poor young opponent, Goodfriend, who I actually don't know how old he is. Looks kind of young, though. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the cast. I know I enjoyed doing it, and I hope to see you for the next one.